Hello and welcome to Think, Build, Test. This is our channel where we like to spur thoughts and ideas of doing things outside of the box and doing things differently. Today is the first episode of a new series we're going to call The Catalyst. This is going to be for projects that are maybe too large of a scope for us to be able to do on our own right now, but hopefully this is something that can spur thoughts for you and your business, and maybe to be able to create partnerships for larger ventures in the future. As you saw in the thumbnail, today we're going to be talking about a business that's almost all but dead, the ice cream truck model.
Don't do that.
There's some differences today than when the ice cream truck used to flourish. We've changed the way that our lives operate, technology's changed, even the landscape of places that we go for entertainment has changed. But maybe there's some things that we've missed. Maybe the ice cream truck is the future of business. Be thinking about your own business applications or ideas for things that you could use that maybe they'd be super convenient if they just showed up at your door rather than you having to go out and get them yourself. I'll tell you some things that I thought of at the end of this. So let's talk about some pros and cons of the ice cream truck business model. Let's go over the list of pros first. One of the pros is time. Reduced driving time between clients, time that you'd usually not be getting paid while you're driving from one end of town to the other end of the town. Fuel. Reduce fuel and energy between clients. Real estate. You don't have to pay for a storefront. Then there's also space to rent. So like a food truck, you'd have to have a place to park and have a place for power and a generator to hook up. And what about services that maybe require a little bit of discretion? Services that you might want some privacy, you may not want to have to carry certain things into a store. Possibly the things that you need worked on are larger items and might be awkward to carry into a store. Potential services for people who have disabilities and can't get out of their house. Another benefit is cost. There's low entry to be able to get into the business, and there's not all those idle things that are collecting cost like electricity, water, and the other building costs like insurance and all the other maintenance that has to be kept up with. Okay, so let's talk about some of the cons. Now some of these cons, we're going to talk about some advantages that technology can bring later, but just be thinking about some of those things yourself. But here's just a list of cons that I have. Just think about those times when we've encountered an ice cream truck. Let's talk about the location. You never know where you're going to be when you see an ice cream truck. Time. You don't know when the ice cream truck is going to show up. There is an energy consideration. You may have to have portable power like a generator or extra batteries. And there will additionally be maintenance for the vehicle you're going to use. Another drawback is it may potentially come off as creepy. There's some negative stigma that's maybe come around with the ice cream truck. You may have a limited customer base. If you're in a small town or a rural area, then it may not be a very good application to be able to go home to home with a small customer base. Weather could be a potential negative. If you have high winds, snow, extreme heat, rain, or cold, just like the ice cream truck, you don't want to sell ice cream in the winter. Also, a cost could be if you have specialty items or you're having to have lots of power or energy to do things, then there could be, for certain job types, a higher cost. So what are some things that we can do to offset the cost with our new technologies that we have today? So I just want to go and build a case study. Here's a scenario that I've thought up and some things that we could do to solve problems along the way. So a case study I want to look at is a knife sharpening business. So if you need a bunch of knives you want to sharpen, you don't want to carry a bunch of knives around with you into a store, especially with heightened security threats at some places. Carrying a bunch of knives with you could be a little awkward. one thing about knives that we've noticed is we don't really realize that they're dull until we go to use them. And so it's not something we're thinking about during the day. Sharpening knives could be quick and affordable to do on the spot with an industrial sharpener. With an industrial sharpener, it could be easy to plan how long it takes you to do each knife, and then as you begin to develop your customer base, you can plan your time easily on how much time per knife you need per location. Additionally, this is a need that has not been addressed yet. Once people begin to enjoy to have sharpened knives, then I think that that's something that they would consider wanting to be return customers if it becomes easy for them to access through the ice cream truck model. One way that our technology can improve this, of our not knowing our location or not knowing what time, is having live GPS monitoring on a website. You could pre-plan a schedule of the areas that you're going to be and the routes you're going to take. For example, Monday you could be at Park Avenue from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. And then the afternoon after lunch you could be at Sunset Street from 12 to 4 p.m. Or maybe on a Wednesday you could be in the Galleria district from 4 to 9. You'd be able to tailor your times for the audiences, maybe when your customer is at home cooking, and that's the time that they are noticing that their knives are dull. Here's an example of a map you could post to show a physical representation of when you'll be somewhere and at the times and the waypoints that you could meet, so that when customers go to your website and they see you coming along, they can have an expectation of when that you could show up at their house. On a broader scope, some of the things that could be done is we could have a larger over-umbrelling website that would have several services that are like an ice cream truck service, like the knife sharpening, and it could be a one-stop shop that someone could subscribe to with their business, like a Craigslist, where you'd have your cities listed, you'd have your business types listed, so people could filter down and find their businesses and the type of services that could be coming to their house near them next. We talked about there could be a negative persona about the creepiness of an ice cream truck. With more and more our vehicles moving towards having electric vehicles, this is a bonus for having on-site 110 volt services. Here's some examples of some electric vehicles, and as you notice, some of these have lots of visibility with lots of windows, lots of low decals, and good branding on them. Those are some of the things that can help us overcome the creepy stigma. The availability now on the market of having compact professional tools, such as these knife sharpeners, can help you to reduce your time and to increase your productivity. Now that you've had some time to think about some applications for your life, here's some quick examples of things that I think could be good services. You could have some common grocery items like a gas station has available, like condiments and drinks. Possibly like a shoe shine business, specialty cleaning, or possibly pew-pew services. You could have things that are time maintenance things that we forget about, like light bulbs, air filters, chlorine, water softeners, and other types of detergents. You could have a mobile glass and crack repair. Those tiny cracks that they seem to only annoy us when the sun's coming down, but when we're at home, we're not thinking about it. Services that require pickup and drop-off, such as dry cleaning, document shredding. There's several handyman type jobs, some of the quick ones that people just don't want to deal with, like quick plumbing jobs as drain cleaning and cleaning out clogs. Potentially, you have something heavy that you've needed help moving, so maybe there's a need for just helping someone with some heavy lifting, or if an elderly person needs help just carrying out the trash. And then things just as simple that we don't even think about, just like hanging a picture, things that some people just don't want to deal with. So in conclusion, some things that we've written off in the past may be able to be revitalized for processes of the future. Hopefully you've enjoyed this thought session. Let us know down in the comments if you'd like to see more things like this. And be sure to subscribe for future thoughts and ideas from our channel. Thanks, YouTube.
Today is the day I'm making a change, building